Hello, my name's Kevin. I'm the Atypical Cripple, and I am with...
Bizarrozar.
And we have an interest... Well, I don't know. Do you think it's interesting?
I hope so. Otherwise, why am I even here?
I know, right? So, what we're looking at tonight is something I thought was rather fortuitous, in the sense that how many shows ago did we talk about the Warhammer 40K as possible, as a genre of fiction that spins off on the Crusader motif?
Well, I remember pulling down that Warhammer book maybe 6 or so episodes ago.
Right. Well, it's interesting because Sargon, a.k.a. Carl Benjamin, we all know him. If you know me, you know him. That's a little frightening to say that like that. Sorry.
You're a fan, and
you
talk about him from time to time.
Yes, I'm not sitting here trying to reflect his deeds, and I'm not putting his words above all else.
You could have worse role models.
What?
You could have worse people to recommend to other people.
Well, I would like to. Yes, like Madonna.
Cardi B.
Right. Okay, so here's the thing. He did a Politics of Warhammer 40,000, and I thought it was interesting. So, switcheroo up there.
Full switch or the other one?
Full switch is fine. They don't need to see any more of me. Anyway, scroll down a little bit. I want to point something out because I sent this to some friends on Facebook. Yeah, I put it as a Facebook thing, I think. So here's the thing. We as Christians are lazy, and we do not, we're lucky if we know Scripture enough. But close that up. The one open tab down below.
Oh.
See words? There you go. So here's the thing. The Warhammer analysis is extensive. And maybe this makes you feel uncomfortable. So I wanted to point out there are tabs in the article. Scroll up the bottom. I want to show them where the... So there's the audio version. It's about 2 hours long. I went through the whole thing. And I wanted to point out 2 sections that I thought were pertinent to what we can talk about. And here we go. Scroll down. Part 2 and Part 6. So Part 2 is the difference between the right and the left. I think this is important to understand from the Christian point of view, because we hear these terms all the time. And what? Are you making a tell-dear argument already?
No, I was looking at how long it was. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, no, but you're
TLDR.
TLDR, right? Anyway, you got to resist the TLDR impulse. You must resist, because here's the thing. I've been talking to my friends, and they've been politely listening to me for over 20 years. And when I found YouTube, I saw all this deep insight into things. Problem is, when you're watching a 4-hour conversation, you might get 20 minutes of real deep insight. So I'd throw them these videos like crazy, and they're like, "Oh gosh, Kevin, are you crazy?" And I'm like, maybe. So, but I've been trying to if I were working all this time, and I only had 20 minutes a day to devote to this, what could I serve my fellow friends for what I find valuable as far as what's going on out there, because I think a part of being a man is being aware of what's going on outside of our familiar gardens.
Right.
Because we have to band together with other guys to like preserve the garden. So if you look at your house as a, possible little Garden of Eden, where Eve can do her little things and oh, the girls had a thing that happened. And you can sit and you can go, oh, that's so wonderful, and your heart can fill with gladness. And you can sit there and, cry a little tear of happiness and put to the good Lord that you're so thankful. Well, here's the thing. The other side of that coin is you have to protect what you have. Mm-hmm. And that is a part of being a man. And part of being a man is being able to determine what is good and what is not good. And God gives us a lot of tools in our toolkits to do this. Problem is, it kind of stopped at 70 AD. But here's the thing, we have so much more to go on. Because John shows us through his gospel that the story continues, because he says, no, the Logos, that's God. God and the Logos are one. Well, the Logos is a completely alien concept to the Hebrew. The Greeks, oh yeah, okay, I get that. So we see a progression then through, the patricians and, the patriarchs of Christianity. You had Ambrose, Augustine, all these people, they're also adding to the issues that come up. You had the Arian heresy, you had all these other things. And so we have all these wonderful traditions all going after trying to seek the truth in regards to what's going on in that time. And I really got a lot out of the City of God by Augustine. Because that 1,000-page, I only read parts of it. I had to be curated in what was important, because, again, an ancient version of a 12-hour podcast is a book that's 1,200 pages long. And people are like, are you serious, Augustine? Are you crazy? And Augustine's like, maybe.
It's called City of God?
Yeah.
I think I need to listen to that.
Yeah, good luck on that one. I tried. Back in
Is there an audiobook?
Yeah, it came in like monster cassette boxes when I had it. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is this. Aside from the time of when Jesus had his feet on earth, we've been trying to sort out and figure out how to apply what he wants us to do on earth.
It's 46 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a work week of just...
That's
a work week.
Almost as long as Calvin's Institutes?
Well, right. Well, and here's the other thing. There are other great works like Summa Theologica by Aquinas. And then the Catholics, they have all their traditions, and the Eastern Orthodox. But we in the West, we went through a lot to get to where we are. But yet we seem to think that, we can just go back to the Bible and read what's there and get all the meaning we need from this. And I think that's a lie. And I think that's a lie that serves a purpose keeps people stunted. But it also means that you get blindsided a lot. Like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? I tried to do what our pastors, they have a hard time because we want to listen to them. But when they say, hey, read this book or do this or do that, we're just like, yeah, stupid pastor didn't really. It's like, okay, and you go on and you do what you do, and you get what you get.
Yeah.
On the other side, there are people that also. Anyway, the main point of the thing here is that we have to, in order to understand the present, you have to do a little library archaeology.
Yeah.
And this is a shortcut to library archaeology. The difference between the left and the right, and the other one, the politics of making the personal political.
Let's see, what was it? The personal is political.
That's right. So here, he goes over why is it important to, we've been told a lie. It's important not to talk about two things in polite society. What are they?
Politics and religion.
Why?
Because we're retarded. I mean, we're stupid.
Well, we're not retarded, but when you really think about it, the argument is genius.
In the sense of our intellectual development has been retarded.
Well,
as a culture. Anyway.
Well, here's the thing. Go back to full screen here. I want to talk to you. See, here's the thing. There's something that's been scaring. Scene 1. There you go. Scene 3. Sorry. Here's the thing. All my life, I've been trying to get out of the special ed room. Because in the special ed room, it's chaos. I mean, you got people dropping trowel. You got people acting horribly.
Catering to the lowest common denominator is, I imagine, the...
Exactly.
Well, but that's the case in all situations.
Well, yes, and that's...
It's just more pronounced in a special ed situation.
Well, here's the thing. I was once on a bus with it was a field trip for some disabled people. And they were all able-bodied. So their disability was not, let's say, physical.
Emotional or mental.
Right. And so here's the thing. Here's the problem. She lied to those kids on the bus to get them to behave. And when they're getting off the bus, I touched her arm and said, shame on you for lying to those kids. Oh, it's like she got really upset. And I'm like, look, they're relying on you to tell the truth. If you're not giving them adequate information feedback, then you're screwing up their sense making, which is information that you take in to correct your behavior in the future. And when you can't trust people's responses to things, and they're not giving you honest information that leads you to conclusions that you're the only one that comes to it. Right. And when I was a kid, I want to help you. And it's like, I don't think so. I had a lot of. How do you determine a nice guy from a molester? And that's the thing. We're being politically molested here by people who openly want to molest kids. Mm-hmm. Remember the whole "don't say gay"?
Yeah, it's still in the news.
And there's nothing more personal than Family Matters. Now, at our church, I gotta ask you, how does our church approach Family Matters?
Delicately?
Yes, because we know you can never know fully what's going on in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to delicately go into those areas with humility and respect and
Right.
not come in and just, bark out.
I can see what's going on here, and
Right.
yeah.
It's when somebody comes in, aha, you know they're lying. You know they're lying. And that's what I have problems with in my area. Caregivers, I know what to do, and you're like, you don't know what the fog is.
Yeah.
And things like that. Well, here's the thing. Let's go over this a little bit. Difference right and left. Philosophy of the Imperium. That's good, but superfluous. Story as imitation. That's interesting because here's the thing. We have to consider our stories. Because I got to admit something to you. My dad is a nice guy. But my real dad, the one who raised me, is John Wayne. Because we had Turner Classic. And I watched John Wayne act. And I appropriated John Wayne. Now, it's recently, a friend come over.
Don't stand next to any bodies of water.
Huh? What?
Don't stand next to any bodies of water when your dad comes around.
Why?
John Wayne.
There's
There's a scene in a movie that basically this kid is standing by some water, and John Wayne comes up and is like, "Do you know how to swim?" And the boy's like, "No."
Oh.
And then he tosses the boy in.
Right.
And then his mom comes, and she's like, "What did you do? What did you do?" And then
teach him to swim.
And then he's like something like, "He didn't know how to swim," and she's like objecting or something, and I think she's like she can't swim either, and he starts to go to grab her and toss her in.
All right. So let's break it down. Because my family is a lot like John Wayne, and watching John Wayne helped me cope with my family. Okay. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing. When I was a kid, my uncle shot me in the face with a BB gun.
Goodness.
You know what made it better?
John Wayne?
Shooting him in the face with the BB gun.
Yeah.
So, and we were shooting peppercorns, which made it all the better. Because it's like, oh no, they're kind of oblong. So, aiming doesn't. Anyway, that was what my uncle used as a justification. But here's the thing. My family, in order to learn it, you got to get in and do it. And there's something to that. And, when you're throwing yourself into things that you're not really sure about, or better yet, when somebody throws you into something, isn't that the quality of a father? Now, it's one thing if your son was 4 and you threw him in the water. You get a lot more air, for one. But I think people would be like, questioning your parenting skills. But if he's 16, throw his little butt in the water. There's a punishment aspect to this. And that if you haven't learned to swim until you're 16, something's wrong with you.
Right.
Now, what my family couldn't put together was I'm different. Not because I want to be, because I have to be.
Right.
And they couldn't make that determination. But that's not the big deal. So, anyway,
story as imitation.
We have to understand that when we watch things, they do affect us. But you can either let it. Here's the thing: you can either say, "Okay, I'm only watching a movie," or am I watching the movie to pick it apart to see what the story is telling me? And that's where we need to be judicious.
Right.
And we're not. Ruin is powers of chaos. Here, this is interesting. So, if you have the Imperial Man on one side and the Chaos Gods on the other, what do the Chaos Gods want?
Chaos?
Yes. Because and this breaks it down, they're looking to give themselves over to their base expressions. Sex, power, influence. These are the Chaos Gods. And the Imperial Man stands against it. And I'm like, I'm starting to see some connections. These people might be my guys.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's look at, and then female Space Marines. That's a little more inside the house of Warhammer 40K, and so those are the main three things that I was able to pull out of this, that you, the non-Warhammer person, can tease out of this. And I want to say, if I ever put up a video without me on it, I'm trying to just pull something from the internet that I thought was worthy of republishing, just like the R over K or some of the other ones I pulled off of. What was one of those?
Like other Lotus Eater stuff, or
podcast or whatever.
Demolition Man.
And of course, if you're ever interested in what my source material is, just go to my Facebook page. If you're a friend, then you're already on it. But if you're not, just let me know. Maybe I'll make it public.
Comment down below.
Yeah, comment. No, we'll talk. But anyway, like I said, I wanted to point this out. I think this is a free article. Again, it's got a audio side to it. So full screen this and let's close it out. Do you have anything to add?
No, I'm interested into this video. We'll definitely make sure to put a link to it in the description.
Of course. And they'll make it easy. But like I said, my friends, look, I'm trying to find value somewhere. Because all of you that know me know I don't want to just show up empty-handed. So if I can help you make sense of things out there, I want to. I want this channel to be a place where we can have conversations, where we can have those conversations they're not having in church, that we're not having at home, because people flip out and freak out. Oh, you're not being nice. Yeah, I'm not here to worship the cult of knights. I'm here to worship God in ways that actually put things to purpose. So with that said, my name's Kevin. I'm the typical cripple.
And I'm Bazarzar.
And I want to say I hope to see you on the next bounce.
Adios.